What's going on, everybody out there? This is Popular Stranger, and we are back at you again today with another Madden 23 Ultimate Team video. In today's video, we're going to be going over the top 5 strong safeties in MUT 23 and the best abilities that you should be using on them. Now, if you guys enjoy this video, if you like it, if it helps you out, make sure you go ahead and click that thumbs up button. Shows a lot of support on the channel, helps the videos get noticed. Also, if you're brand new here, you were searching around YouTube for MUT 23 content, or maybe the video was recommended to you, stay a while, click that subscribe button, turn that notification bell on as well so you guys are alerted when we drop additional videos. Let's get right on into it. We're going to start with the best abilities for safeties in general, but specifically for this video, strong safeties. And let me be upfront with you guys, I don't actually use any abilities on my safeties. There are a few good ones, but I'm finding that using abilities on cornerbacks right now for the style of defense I'm playing is more beneficial. But let's talk about it. We're on mut.gg/abilities. This is your Bible for all abilities. They rank them as far as the best ones down to the worst ones. And medium route KO has to be one of the better ones. For safeties, I think it's better on cornerbacks, but if you take a look, defenders with this ability force more catch, tackle knockouts in man-to-man versus medium routes, which are 10 to 20 yards from the line of scrimmage. So this is really good if you're running a lot of man coverage. It's the meta right now. I know some of you hate going against it, but if you want to win, sometimes you got to run the things that are working. And right now, man coverage, zero blitzes, definitely OP. So if you throw this on a safety and you put that safety in man coverage a lot, you know, typically you're going to get pressure on the quarterback. They're going to have to throw routes that are between 10 and 20 yards. And having this medium route KO, as long as your defender's in pretty close range, more than likely they're going to knock it out. So you see that a lot of cornerbacks get it. Chris McAllister, Samuel Womack are some players that get it at a discount. But you can see here, Nolan Cromwell, Jordan Poyer, 2 cards that are definitely going to be in our top 5 are safeties that can get this ability. The next ability is Acrobat. Certainly deserves to make the list. Defenders with this ability will die for an increased range on pass breakups and interceptions. It basically works the same that it did in MUT 22, and if you play MUT 22, you know, there were a lot of teams out there rocking 3, 4, 5 Acrobats on the field at the same time because it was just so OP. It still works just the same. The biggest problem here is if you scroll down and look to the left on man-to-man corners, slot corners, zone corners, and then zone safeties, hybrid safeties, and run support safeties, it's all 5 AP. So it's good on the field, but you only get 12 AP on defense, and using over a third of that on one specific ability is just too expensive right now. So though it is still very good, you know, at this point, the only times I would recommend maybe looking at it is for discounts, and you can see that one safety, Troy Polamalu, can get it for 3 AP. Deep route KO is definitely going to be very useful as well with those man coverage schemes. It's pretty similar to mid route KO. The only difference here is that the defenders with this ability are going to force more catch and knockouts for passes that are 20 plus yards over the line of scrimmage. Troy Polamalu, another safety on our list here that's going to be able to get it at a discount for 1 AP. Cromwell gets it. You're going to see a handful of cornerbacks get it as well, of course. Pick Artist is an interesting ability because, in theory, you shouldn't need an ability for your player to catch the ball. But the reason that people are using this one right now is because there's a lot of tipped passes. With all the people going for aggressive catches and one-on-one coverage, you're going to see some of those passes get tipped. And raise your hand if you had a second defender in the area, the ball floated to their hand, and then they magically dropped it. Well, Pick Artist helps with that, and MUT.gg ranks this as a silver tier ability. It says Pick Artist has the value and definitely helps secure interceptions, but not worth the AP cost. There are a few safeties, Jordan Poyer, Nolan Cromwell, that are in our list, we've already said that do get it for 1 AP, so you might want to use that if you have one of those players. It is 2 AP on pretty much all corners and safeties after that, so, you know, you only get 12 on defense. One more time, do you want to allocate 2 of the 12 or 4 of the 12 on your safeties or corners to catch the ball? Sometimes it can be a game-changing interception. It's up to you to make that decision. On offense, Deep Out Elite is one of the more popular abilities people are using on wide receivers. Well, Deep Out Zone KO is somewhat of a counter to that. Defenders with this ability are going to force more catch knockouts and react quicker in deep zone coverage 20 plus yards from the line of scrimmage and outside the hash mark. So if you're tired of basically, you know, getting agged and you got your players one-on-one, if you put them in a zone, Deep Out Zone KO is going to be helpful. They say that this is the best version of the KO abilities, but man defense is just so much better than zone right now. This one, unless you're going primarily with a zone scheme, I wouldn't use. And finally, we have mid-zone KO. It's going to work pretty much the same. The only difference is that players in zone defense are going to break up catches more often, and it's going to be inside the numbers and between 10 and 20 yards. But another solid ability. Cromwell, you've seen him on this. He gets so many of the good abilities at a discounted rate, and he's such a good player. So those are the best abilities that you can be using right now on safeties. Let's go ahead and get into some budget options first. These are going to be players under 100K, and Keanu Neal is definitely deserving of this list. Ultimate Kickoff card, you had the chance to get this card for free via the Field Pass, so if you haven't earned that pack yet, you can still get this card. He is a little bit slow compared to the better strong safeties in the game right now, but 6'1", 86 speed, 86 zone coverage, 90 hit power, and 80 man coverage. He gives you a lot of balance. I wouldn't put him in man coverage too often, but he does give you good balance with the coverage, the hit power, and the height. He's just lacking a little bit of speed, but obviously, being that he's a budget item, he's making our list for that specific reason. He also doesn't really get any of the good abilities. All the ones that we mentioned in the video earlier are not on here. You can put Deflator on him, but for 2 AP, I don't really think it's worth it. And of course, he is under 100K, 74.8K on Xbox, 75.6K on PlayStation, and 92.6K on PC. The second and final budget option is going to be Campus Heroes Grant Delpit, and this has to be one of my favorite cards of the entire MUT 23 years so far. He's made so many plays for me on the main team, on the No Money Spent squad. He's getting a little bit outdated compared to the best cards at this position right now, but if you're on a budget, this is almost a must-have. 6'3", 87 speed, 84 hit power. He hasn't really forced any fumbles for me, but he's just great in coverage. 85 man coverage, 89 zone. He's fast, he's tall, he can cover. A little bit of hit power there, of course. He does come with pre-baked Acrobat, but it's not at a discount. It's still 5 AP. Early in the year when I first got this card and I wasn't quite sure what to do with my AP on defense, I did have it activated and he made tons of plays with it, but for a 5 AP cost, as we said earlier, it's just not worth it. He can get mid-zone KO, he can get short route KO, which is not on our abilities list, but it is something if you're running those man coverage defenses. 83.6K on Xbox, 92.6K on PlayStation, and 98K on PC. Now we move into our top 5, and coming in at number 5 is going to be Steve Atwater, but before we talk about this card, let me come clean. Troy Polamalu is not going to be on my top 5 list. I know that might disappoint a few of you. When it comes to these lists that I break down, I like to factor in pricing a lot, and though that card isn't overly expensive, I think for the price, there are just better options out there, and the attributes are so similar. Now, despite Steve Atwater being -2 speed compared to Polamalu, because let's be real, it was either Polamalu at number 5 or Atwater. The reason I gave Atwater the nod, we're talking 6'3" versus 5'10". That is a big thing that has to come in play, especially if you're using your safety. I can't tell you, and maybe I'm a little bit biased because I got lurked by this card so many times, but this card has made so many plays, whether it was against a user or even the controlled AI. Atwater just always seems to be there making plays. Also, he's 100K cheaper. Polamalu's a little bit over 300K. Atwater a little bit over 200K, so that's why he's at number 5. 87 speed, 6'3", 90 hit power, 88 zone. He also gives you 82 man. I wouldn't put him in man too often, but I just really love the height, the zone, and the hit power, and 87 speed isn't terrible, but like we said, Troy Polamalu's is 89. I think that's the only thing that he has over Steve Atwater. Here are the abilities. He can get Acrobat, deep in zone KO, deep out KO. He gets medium route KO, mid zone KO, and pick artist. So a lot of the abilities that we mentioned in this video are at the top of the video he can get. And then pricing wise, $191 on PlayStation, $197 on PC, and $225K on Xbox. At number 4, we have Gridiron Guardians, and this is an alter ego card, Cordero Patterson, so an out of position card, strong safety, 6'2" with 88 speed, 80 hit power, 90 zone coverage, 88 man. Another just very good card, very well-rounded, and very inexpensive. Now remember, you can also get this card for free via the Field Passes for the Gridiron Guardians promo, so you might want to keep that in mind if you're looking for a strong safety and haven't earned that pack yet in the Field Pass, the regular Field Pass. not the house rules rewards. He also gets pretty good abilities. He's going to get short route KO. Deep in zone KO is actually pre-equipped for 2 AP on this card. He can also get the mid zone KO, flat zone KO, and if you have to buy him, only 127k on Xbox, 146 on PlayStation, and 137k on PC. I'm noticing a lot of these 88 overall Gridiron Guardians cards are starting to go down in price. We got Eagles legend Jordan Poyer coming in at number 3 on our list. This is the most recent release strong safety from all of like the top tier cards at this position, but he lands here at number 3, 6 foot even with 90 speed. I think we kind of, you know, because he's a 91 and only has 84 man coverage, like that's kind of why he dropped down on the list there. Also 75 hit power. He does give you 86 tackle, 89 play rec, 93 pursuit. So those are some things that are good about him. And it's not a bad card, but you know, we talked about price being a big factor on our list. He's very expensive. We'll show you the pricing in a moment, and that's why he's not ranked 1 or 2. And honestly, with the price factored in, I would almost maybe say Cordero Patterson could be 3 and Poyer could go 4. But here are the abilities. He does get Pick Artist for 1 AP. We mentioned that earlier. Deep in zone KO for 2 AP. He can get Acrobat. He gets the deep in and deep out and medium route KO. So he pretty much gets all the KOs, zone and man coverage. But look at that pricing. Unfortunately, with these Team of the Week, Player of the Week cards, they're just very pricey. 775k on Xbox, 712 on PlayStation, 623 on PC. This card is good, it's just not worth that price. Coming in at number 2, we got Bam Bam Cam Chancellor, part of the AKA promo. His strong safety card is a 90 overall, 6'3" with 89 speed, so a notch slower than Jordan Poyer, but he's definitely taller at the 6'3" frame. He also gives you 91 hit power, better than Poyer, 91 zone coverage, better than Poyer, and 85 man coverage, better than Poyer. So I think this card, even though despite being -1 in overall, it's just generally a better card, and guess what? It's also cheaper. Let's take a look at his abilities first here. He gets Enforcer and Secure Tackler for 1 AP. I would not waste my AP on that. He can get Acrobat, mid-zone KO. Pricing, he's actually starting to come down in price. When I got this card on my main team, he was around 600 to 650k. He's below 500k now. Pretty expensive for most of you, I get it, but he is worth it. 480 on Xbox, 459 on PlayStation, and 456k on PC. And finally, coming in at number 1 is going to be LTD legend, 91 overall, Nolan Cromwell. This card is just so good. 6'1", 91 speed, 87 hit power, both the man and the zone at 90 plus, man being 90, zone being 92, pursue at 91, play rec at 89. His tackle is a little bit low. He's more of a coverage safety, but he can pretty much do it all here. And take a look at all of the abilities. We saw this when we looked at them. He gets a ton at a discounted rate, and of course if you power him up, actually I lied, you can't because he's a LTD. But Pick Artist for 1 AP, mid-zone KO for 1 AP, deep in and deep out zone KO for 1 AP. He gets it all, and he gets it at a discount. Biggest problem with this card is he is expensive. He actually was a lot cheaper in price a couple days ago, but he's starting to go up. And we're in a strange time right now where LTDs are actually, in some cases, cheaper than set cards. And at one point he was, but like I said, he's starting to go up in price. So if you didn't get him, it might be a little bit too late. Might have to wait and see if after the Season 1 Field Pass, he gets some type of Redux card. So that's going to be in about a week or so, possibly. If he does, then I would definitely go after this card. But right now, 926k on Xbox, 878 on PlayStation, and 696 on PC. Again, price does factor in to our top 5, but this card is so good we had to keep him at number 1. And that wraps it up. If there's any players you guys you think I left off of the list, let me know down below in the comment section. And sorry to Steeler fans for leaving Troy P out, but he's just not good enough to make the list. My name is Popular Stranger. I'm out. Peace.